Hey everybody, it's day 133 of Training Daily Excellence. My name is Brad Gieske, and today we are talking about my book, The Soccer Training Journal, The Player's Guide to Daily Excellence. I published this resource because I wanted a way of holding players accountable to their own goals. I wanted a way of helping players to realize what are proponents for their success and what are detriments to their success along their development journey. Now, I've always been very interested in sports psychology, and I've been blessed to work with a sports psychologist, Dr. Paul Wright, over at Lindenwood University. And when I went to the market to see if this resource were already available so I could provide it for my players, there was nothing like this. And so I came back with the idea, you know what? It's time that this is available to players. It's something that players need, and it allows them to continue in their development. Not only that, it's an awesome timestamp in a player's career that they can look back on, and over the 90-day journey of this book, they can say, okay, these were things I was doing. What was the outcome of this season? Did I get better? Did I stagnate? Or did I get worse during this season? And how can I go about improving my training techniques and improving my mindset going into the game in order to facilitate further success? Now, oddly enough, my chemistry teacher in high school was the first one to cue me on to sports psychology. He gave us extra credit for reading pieces of a book called Mind Gym. And this is an excellent resource, a lot of practical knowledge there for you young athletes. But all of these experiences have led into the publishing of this resource, because this resource is not meant to be something that is just simply there and kind of a hassle to use. It's something that's meant to be very simple and at the same time very effective. It's based on the science of how our minds work and how we can start to attract ourselves to our goals. Now, throughout the book, there are quotes, and these quotes are from famous people that kind of set your day right, set you going in the right path, and then you're tracking very simple parameters throughout. So I'll go ahead and open it up here. Each daily page starts with a quote that is meant to inspire and to bring purpose to the day to come. The most effective way to use this journal, this resource, is in the last 5 minutes before you go to bed each night. One, it allows you to reflect upon while remembering the things that you did during the day. And then two, it allows your mind to devote resources as you sleep to the new goal that you set for the next day. If we look at the page here, we've got time invested, component, and what you did. So component's going to be the physical game, psychological/mental game, and tactical game. So those are already written in there for you. Those are going to be standardized. The time invested, you're going to write to the left of that. So you're going to write how much time you invested in your physical game, and so on and so forth. And then what you did is a brief description of what you did for your physical game, for your psychological or mental game, for your tactical game. And you can fill this out any way that you want. This book is made for you. You want to do it in such a way that you can reflect back upon it and understand what you did in that day. But whatever shorthand you want to write in, whatever way that you want to reflect upon what you've invested in your game that day is fine. This book is for you. Like I said, this is your time machine to check back on when you're developing as a player. So we've got a small nutrition section here that you can write in food, and you can write in water, how much you had. This allows us to think about the things that we're putting into our body. So if I had 4 Twinkies before my soccer game didn't go so well, maybe it was the Twinkies. And so when we write down the foods that we ate, we can at least reflect upon, okay, I didn't have the best game of my life today. Was food a factor? And so maybe it was. Was water a factor? Was I dehydrated? Do I need to drink a little bit more water? So that's why these sections are on there. They're really, really important. They often get overlooked, but they're super important to your performance from day to day. Now, the next part is, what did you learn today? We should learn something every day. If you ever leave that blank, then you are not paying attention to the lessons that life is giving you. So make sure that you realize that you've learned something today, and you'll learn something tomorrow and every day to come. Did you accomplish your goal today? That's going to be the goal that you set the day before. Did you? So yes or no. And then if no, you can reflect upon it a little bit. Why didn't you? If yes, you can explain the feeling, what it was like to accomplish that goal. And then what's your goal for tomorrow? Write something that's challenging but also is realistic. Make sure it's very specific so that you can say yes or no that you did or did not do that. Something more qualitative is hard sometimes. Be a better soccer player. So how do you know if you're a better soccer player? But if you say, take 100 touches on the ball, take 10 shots, those things are easy to reflect back upon and say yes or no, I did or did not do that. And then we've got our additional notes, so anything that you want to just note on there is fine, so that we can really write off special days. We can see if there's something that was extraordinary about that day, and we can write that in the additional notes section, or a challenge that we had in that day. And then the running totals. This is something that is paramount to understanding at the end of this 90 days what it all means. So we do this journal in order that, one, we can be accountable day to day, but two, so that at the end of the season, we can reflect back upon the time we've invested. So if we've spent very little time in our physical game, so you'll see we put our time invested in the day up top, but then our running totals is going to be all of the days up to this point combined. So if we notice that we're spending very, very little time in our physical game, our mental psychological game, or a tactical game. So let's use mental psychological game for an example. So let's say I've only spent 1 hour practicing visualization and other psychological or mental techniques. And then I recognize also I'm not confident in my game right now. Maybe it's because I've only invested an hour in my mental psychological game, but I've invested 50 hours in my physical game and another 30 hours in my tactical game. So we really need to be cognizant of how we're spending our time and where we are investing our resources throughout the day. There are a few other things that I want to point out. So something is called the law of attraction, and while I don't subscribe completely to this idea of you think of something like, if you want to be a millionaire, you think of being a millionaire every day and you put your heart on that, and then all of a sudden one day you have $1 million check. Part of that is true, because what happens is your mind starts to devote resources to things that you value. And so if in your mind you value a $1 million check, and that's a paramount value, and you bring your mind back to focusing on it every single day, you will put resources toward achieving that goal. I guarantee it. There will be actions and there will be decisions that you take in your life that will lead you toward that direction. That doesn't mean that you're absolutely going to be a millionaire one day, but what it does mean is you facilitate resources toward things that you think about. You can make your own homemade version of this journal, but there are some issues in doing so. First, you will have to find your own daily quotes. Finding 90 inspiring quotes can be time consuming, so be aware of that. Second, it's not only cumbersome, but it's also expensive to print out individual days and then try to staple those together. Last, if you're using this as a resource, as something to reflect back upon, you're going to want the resource to be organized. You're going to want it in a nice, tight binding in order that you can effectively use that resource. And so this book, I honestly do believe I offer it at the cheapest price that I can because I want it in as many players' hands as possible. It's $8.90 something cents on Amazon. You can also buy it directly from me, but I really do believe that this is an outstanding resource for players, and it's something that I want every player possible to have a copy in their hands. So, you players out there, go buy a copy of the book. I promise you it will facilitate successes in your game. It will allow you to be a more effective player. It will allow you to set goals and to achieve them. It will allow you to be a responsible player. It will allow you to be a responsible being that goes about doing the things that they want to do in this life, that sets goals and achieves goals. So, if you're an aspiring soccer player and you're hearing my message, go out, buy my book, and I look forward to hearing from your successes. Like, subscribe, and share. If you have the book already, if you want the book, if you have questions on goal setting, write a comment in the comment section. And here's the thing, I know all of you players have goals, dreams, and ambitions. This resource will allow you to get closer to those goals, dreams, and ambitions. So let yourself invest in the responsibility of your success. Let yourself take the time, the 5 minutes each night, to reflect upon the process and to grow closer to those goals each day. I'll see you guys tomorrow.